Not 5 minutes have passed of me just watching this video, and I'm struck by how poetic it is. It begins with a lot of filler shots of kids getting ready for school with the voiceover from the director, and in 1999 he made a film about public school teachers called The First Year, and then he says 10 years later it was time for me to choose a school, and he betrayed everything he thought he stood for and decided to send his kids to a private school. I'm loving this. It's poetic, it's beautiful, it's talking about how state regulations and state expectations are different from federal expectations, and then you have the local expectations, and it's just one big mess. Like, I just wish there was such a simple answer. Oh my gosh, it's so annoying. Like, how did we get to this point?
Just included a pop culture reference to The Simpsons about tenure, and I think it fit beautifully and was comical and was brilliant, and I appreciate it. We also just got a School of Rock reference with Jack Black and Miranda Cosgrove.
We just learned about the Rubber Room in New York, and this is absolutely just appalling and ridiculous. They get paid to sit in a room for 7 hours a day, doing nothing.
Different outfit, same Tory. Let's continue watching. Michelle Ray, who's the superintendent of the D.C. district schools, which is one of the worst school districts in the country, he put in Michelle's defense and then a defense from the teachers union, like, head leader. I thought that was interesting because he's not showing bipartisanship. He's doing an excellent job of presenting the information and then letting the viewer think of it what he or she will. We've been focusing on inner city schools, and we are moving out of the suburbs, which have been ignored for most of the film. I'm curious to see what he has to say. So right after this, he's jumped into the story about Chuck Yeager and going with the speed of sound. So I'm interested where he brings this, because this is probably the biggest out of left field turn he's taken. So Airplane Man never really saw that connection. Jokes, I get the connection now. Just like people thought they couldn't break the speed of sound, and the guy did. They didn't think that poor kids could excel, and then they did. There's the theme of you just want better for their child. You want your child to have something better than what you had. And I think that's the message that all human beings can relate to, because it's in our blood to care for each other, I think.
Now we're at the point that the whole film has been building up to, the raffles.
Only one of the people got into the school that they applied for. It wasn't the inner city kids. One person got waitlisted, and you're sitting here hoping that they get in. And as you watch,
Riding on the way home, and you're going with them. You're having to deal with what they're going through as well.
You have to take that train ride too.
Then the music gets hopeful. Just included a really old black and white shot of a school bus, which just so happened to be going down a hill. And then commentary from a man who was saying, "We know how to save schools, just like we know how to stop that bus." The very last shot of the movie leaves you with Anthony, the boy you first meet. He got moved up on the waiting list because they found him a spot at the school, so he finally got to go. And he's just moved in. It's a boarding school. And he's put a photo on his bed that you saw him looking at earlier. And the picture is of him and his dad when he was first born. And I think that sort of suggests to what I was talking about earlier, how each generation wants its children to do better. And I think maybe Anthony was hoping he's doing better from what his father had, and so that maybe one day he'll be able to do better for his own kids. So, looks like we'll finish off with a little animation.